All right, I want to walk you through something because I don't think what's happening sometimes is your fault. I don't think it's about willpower. I think you've been doing the hard bit. I think you've been eating less and the scale's barely moved. And that's genuinely for you, it's confusing, it's demoralizing, and there's a real reason for it, right? I want you to picture your metabolism as a fire. How brightly it burns depends on how well it's fed. Feed it too little for too long, it doesn't go out. It sort of dims itself down to embers to survive on what little it's getting. And that dimming has a name. It's called metabolic adaptation. And it's your body being very clever. It's not broken. And I want to be straight with you because this is very important. The basic rule hasn't changed. You still lose fat by burning more energy than you take in. That's a calorie deficit. And it's always the thing that drives weight loss. So why isn't it working? Because weight loss has two sides, not just one. Weight loss has the energy that you put in, and then obviously there's the energy that you burn. You essentially lowered what's going in, and that's good. But what happened is the body's quietly lowered what burns, like what it burns, to match it. So the deficit that you thought you had has just closed, right? So now you're maintaining. And essentially, that's what these two fires are. As you can see on the PDF, it's on the left. It's fed too little. The fire drops to embers, and your body burns as little as it possibly can. Chronic dieting does that as well. If you're on and off for years, and on the right, it's sort of fed enough. The fire is bright, and your body feels safe to spend freely. Get rid of that fat tissue freely. And this is the same person, but a very different burn. So the difference is whether the fire trusts that more fuel is coming. And here's how you turn it down, and it's mostly invisible because what you start to do is you don't notice it, but you fidget less, you feel cold more, you'll move a little less. Well, you look for the body will find ways to move more efficiently. So the same walk, the same steps will burn fewer calories than it used to. And obviously, that's not what we want. None of it's in your head. None of it is laziness. It's just your body protecting you. And every bit of it shrinks that sort of deficit gap that you're trying to rely on. And that's exactly why the weight came off first initially and then stalled. Early on, the deficit is real. The fat moves, heads off the body, and then the body's starting to adapt, and it's dropped then to meet that lower intake. So that deficit has closed the gap, and then you've hit the wall and you've plateaued. And the trap I really want you to see is when that happens, the instinct is I'm just going to eat even less. But that just potentially dims the fire even further and makes the stall harder to escape and not easier. So what helps is we feed the fire, we ramp it back up, enough food, plenty of protein, so the body trusts it's safe to burn brightly again. Add in a bit of strength work because muscle is a bigger furnace that burns more um, fuel, burns more calories all day. We protect your sleep, we ease your stress. If we're tired, a stressed body is going to cling on to things like that tighter. A little patience with those things, the fire is going to start to come back. It does take a moment, you know, and to be completely clear, because we're not about selling you magic, none of this skips the deficit. You don't lose fat by eating more in and of itself. What we're doing is lifting how much you burn so that a sensible, livable amount of food, once again, leaves room for that steady loss. And that's the difference between grinding yourself down on less and less and less and essentially burning the candle at both ends, and the difference between getting your body working with you again. And that's a whole idea behind how we coach this. We don't want to burn you out. We want to build that fire back up. We want to build that metabolic rate back up. And if you're sitting there feeling like you've failed because you've hit a plateau um, or anything like that, because you ate so little in the past and nothing's happened, I want you to hear this. You didn't fail. Your body's adapted. It's supposed to do this. So let's work. Let's work with it instead of it. You know. And yeah, any questions? Let us know.